Hi, I'm Val the Realtor. Welcome back to my channel. This week, we're in the historic and beautiful community of Inglewood. Not only is it the oldest community in Calgary, it's one of the most fascinating, and I can't wait to share it with you. Inglewood is a great inner city southeast community. On the north side you have the Bow River. To the west you have Fort Calgary. On the south side you have the great community of Ramsey. And on the east side you have the railroad tracks. Inglewood is like a small town within the community, very similar to Bowness actually, and it's very pedestrian friendly. You can pretty much walk everywhere, whether it's to school, to the bank, to the grocery store, bakery, pizzeria, pubs, restaurants. It's also a big arts community. So you have music, theater, fine arts, art galleries, lots of photography. It's a beautiful little spot. Now, Inglewood is a great location even if you work downtown. There's a beautiful path system, great for riding, walking, or cycling, so you can easily get into work. You're walking distance to the Central Library, Studio Bell, of course the Stampede grounds. Great spot to watch the fireworks. It's from Inglewood. You're also close to the C train, public transit, and you're in the e-scooter zone, so you can definitely get one of those scooters and bebop around town. There's also some beautiful historical landmarks here in Inglewood. You have Dean House. I've heard that Dean House can be haunted. I don't know if it is. I haven't witnessed any paranormal activity. But according to the story, the house gets its name from Captain Dean, who was the last commanding officer at Fort Calgary. And the house was built in 1906. He ordered it to be built for his wife. And his wife unfortunately got gravely ill and died 2 days before she was to move in on Christmas Day, actually. So maybe the rumor's true about it being haunted because maybe it's Dean's wife.
Crazy stuff.
Martha. There's the National Hotel next to the livery stable. And then you have the Colonel Walker House and a lot of other heritage buildings. Now, back when I first became a realtor, I remember I was working on a transaction with another realtor and we were pulling title and looking at zoning, and there was a property in Inglewood that was still zoned agricultural. So in other words, they could still have cows and chickens and llamas, whatever else they wanted in their backyard, and yet here it was, a city property that the zoning had never been updated. So it was just kind of a funny thing. So you have to remember Inglewood has this long history that dates way before Calgary was a city. So they have it, they're probably about 150 years old compared to the rest of Calgary. So of course people did try to get around with transportation that was horses, carriages, that kind of thing. And they did have livestock in their backyard. So it's another nice little piece of history. And as a result, there's a lot of businesses that have these inner courtyards and places that were once stables. Inglewood is a very historical community, and as such, the city really, and this community really holds on to that. So they still have over 400 buildings that date pre-1914, which is probably more heritage buildings than any other community. And they have height restrictions. They want to keep to the height of the heritage buildings, the historical buildings now. So they don't have any tall high rises. So one thing you're going to notice that's missing here, there's no Starbucks, no McDonald's, no Tim Hortons. Everything is locally owned, locally run, so you get a lot of really interesting spots. So there's the Nash, there's the Hose and Hound, Rouge. There's a lot of unique eating establishments, bakeries, Spalumbos. Who hasn't heard of Spalumbos? All of that comes from Inglewood. Residential living here is fun and you have a lot of options. At the low end, you could probably get into the market here for around $250,000, and at the high end, you can go up as much as $3 million. Let's kind of give you a look at the perspectives of your residential options here in Inglewood. In condominium life, of course, as I've mentioned, there's no high rises, so they're mostly 3 to 5 story buildings. You can have your traditional apartment and of course your traditional townhouse, but there's also condominiums that are multi-level that include commercial space. So for example, you could have a storefront in your main level that you would come in that would operate as a retail outlet. You could have that on the main floor, and then the upper 2 levels become like a townhouse, and your outdoor space is actually a rooftop deck. Moving into the mid-range, you know, anywhere from, let's say, the 600, maybe high 500s, up to about 800,000, you can get some of these historical houses. Now, a little bungalow is going to be a lot cheaper, mostly land value. You may have to put in some sweat equity and restore it, up into a 2-story, more Victorian style home that will offer you a little bit more square footage and may have had some work done. There's lots of options in that. If you're looking for a home, new construction, detached, sort of that infill equivalent in Inglewood, I've taken you to 7th Avenue Southeast, where there's a number of projects on the go currently. So if you want to still have that city vibe, sort of think New York City brownstone. That's what we have on this street for the newer infills. There's several of them available, so they might set you back a little bit more because you'll be looking at somewhere between 1.2 and 1.3 million. But they offer approximately 2,400 square feet, detached living, double car garage, backyard, and of course, these new homes are right across the street from the Inglewood Reserve, Inglewood Pump Track, beautiful green space, right across the street. Now, I will tell you a little story. My husband and I, once upon a time, years ago, went to Rouge Restaurant in Inglewood, which is an old historical house. And I excused myself and went to the bathroom. And there was these old stairs that you go up these old stairs to go to the bathroom. And I could feel like there was another woman following me into the bathroom, which is normal when you go to a public bathroom in a restaurant. And of course, this is in a heritage house, so it's restaurant scaled down onto a micro level. Anyway, I turned around, there was no one behind me, didn't think anything about it, opened the door, and I go to the bathroom, and then I hear the door open and close again, and I look, and there's still nobody there. And so then I'm kind of primping myself in the mirror after I've gone to the bathroom, washing my hands and all of that, and I could swear that there was this other presence there, but I could feel this positive female energy. And I thought, it feels like there's a ghost in the room. But at the time I was not really thinking much about it and just thought, okay, well, I'm just getting creeped out because it's an old house and sometimes old houses give you these vibes. So I go back down to the dinner table and I was telling my husband, I said, I felt like there was a lady with me in the bathroom, but she wasn't actually there. And he proceeds to tell me that this particular restaurant in this particular house is known to be haunted. So who knows? So when I think of Inglewood, I also often think of some of the haunted houses in the area. So if that's your thing, it might be another good place to explore. It's just such a great community. So if you're looking for a different community to live, if you're looking to have a really cool community to establish that local business in, take a good look at Inglewood. There's lots of live-work options, and it's a great place to buy, to rent, and to live. Thanks for watching this week's video on Inglewood. I'd love to hear your favorite places in Inglewood. Please share in the comments below. For regular real estate content, please hit subscribe. Look forward to seeing you again next time.